So Donald Trump, is he going to get arrested? He's sitting there tweeting about it. He's like, oh my God, everybody freak out. Donald Trump might get indicted. He might get arrested. Then they're going to fingerprint him. They're going to fingerprint him, and then they're going to take his mugshot, and then they're going to make him sit in a jail cell. Oh my God. Poor Donald Trump. Poor. He's a plutocrat. He's a mogul. He's rich. He's powerful. He's an ex-president. He's an oligarch plutocrat. He's one of the fucking elites. Donald has an absolute fucking endless bench of lawyers, and he's Donald Trump going to be arrested. Are you freaking kidding me? What rich person do you know? You'd have to get a lay cop. You'd have to get a police officer that has the courage to arrest a rich and powerful person. You have to get a police officer that isn't just picking on some poor person, but somebody that can afford a lawyer. He's got an endless bench of greedhead lawyers up the wazoo. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm trying to find some kind of clip here. And you know what? We don't need a damn clip. Fucking, is Donald going to get arrested? You know, I don't like Donald, so politically, I'd like to see it. It would change the optics of January 6th, but I don't want him to be arrested over some dumb shit, because you only get like one swing at the pitch. You only get one damn pitch, so if you're going to charge him with something, make sure you charge him with a crime he actually committed. But I've never known a lay cop who's going to arrest anybody that's like above them. They won't arrest another cop. They won't arrest anybody in local government or state government, let alone any of the feds. They're not going to arrest a FBI guy. They're not going to arrest an ATF guy. They're not going to arrest probably most middle class people. I'm not for sure what the hell cops are actually doing. But Donald is a pretend tycoon with Secret Service protection for life. No lay cop is going to arrest him. He's also crying foul. Look at everybody's talking about him now, you know. He's crying foul, though. I wonder why. He's getting nervous about the indictment, so he's about to get indicted for something in New York. And they're talking about Stormy Daniels, and, you know, I don't know, the Stormy Daniels thing. There's not really much there. There's not really much there with the Stormy Daniels thing. And then they're talking about some campaign finance violation, and they're also talking about something else. So I gotta see what the hell you're even talking about. But it's a clever, manipulative trap is what they're doing. You saw that anti-woke mother, right? She was gonna prevent that clip from going viral. How? By predicting that it would go viral. I mean, that's a clever, manipulative trap. If you're just gonna go mock me for the stupid things that I think, why should I even say the stupid things that I think? It's kind of brilliant to attempt to overthrow the Capitol over a pretend rigged election, but then give up, right? Oh yeah, he don't even believe in his own bullshit, his own lies. Do you care about democracy? You're saying you got more votes, and yet you still walked away from the White House. In fact, him walking away from the White House does make me nervous that he could get back in there. He could get elected. He could get elected. But he gave up immediately, so that should tell you everything that you need to know. Jesus Christ, he's a fucking compulsive, pathological liar. You can't even tell what the fuck is going on. He'll just say the opposite. What, JFK is still here? He's still alive. What JFK files? He knew his own claims of rigged elections was total bullshit. That's why he walked away from the White House, or he didn't give a shit. He's like, you know what? I won this election fair and square, but to hell with America. Is that what you're telling me? He said, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. At the very least, he did instigate. He did incite a riot. That's exactly what the fuck he did. He incited a riot. Why don't you arrest him in D.C. for inciting a riot? He could come back and try to win the next election. So him walking away from the White House and not starting goddamn the second Civil War gives him the opportunity to get back into office. Now, Hitler and Hugo Chavez did the exact same thing. Hitler tried to overthrow the government, and then he's going to get elected. The Nazis are going to be elected. Hugo Chavez tried to overthrow the government, and then he got elected. I guess it shows gumption or something. You attempt to overthrow the government, then they won their respective elections later on. I guess it's gumption or something. I don't know. That person's got a can-do spirit. Oh, that damn Hugo Chavez. He's a Castro kind of did something similar. So I'm a little bit worried about January 6th being some sort of, was it the 26th of July, 25th of July movement? Whichever one that was. Was it the 25th of July or the 26th of July? I want to say 26, but let's check it out. The 26th of July movement was Castro tried to overthrow Cuba, but he didn't do it. And then he said, history will absolve me. And he said some other, at the time it sounded crazy because Batista was in charge. The 26th of July movement. So 1959. 1959, Castro tried to overthrow the Cuban government but failed. They threw him in jail. Then he runs away, exiles, stays in Mexico for a while, builds up a team, and then goes back to Cuba to overthrow the government. And then he was successful the second time. Should Donald be arrested for this? So what I'm saying is that the images, they're saying, oh, it was just like a frat party or something. The images, that shit, you're playing with fucking, that's a coup d'etat. Shut the fuck up. That's an insurrection. That's not how government, you're supposed to fucking pass a law, do the motions or what the fuck ever, pass some legislation, get it signed. And then there's three branches. I don't remember the branch where some guy in a beanie hat comes running in with the fucking... Should Donald Trump be arrested for it? I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure if Donald Trump should be arrested for whatever they're going to indict him for or they're thinking about indicting him for. With the Stormy Daniels thing, I just don't feel like there's not much there. From what I could tell, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of things that Donald should be arrested for. The deaths on January 6th, you had the woman that got shot, you had the cop who died. There was only a couple deaths, but some people died on January 6th. He incited that riot, and then that led to people dying. If he didn't incite that riot over fucking bullshit, he definitely incited the riot. So the people that died, he could get arrested for inciting a riot, but the deaths, anything, that was because of his behavior, the riot that he set off, those deaths, I would think would be it would be his responsibility. So he should definitely be arrested for murder, right? We all agree with that, murder. Especially murders of innocent people. People that were completely 100% perfect victims. They just happened to be sitting next to somebody that wasn't very good. In fact, Donald Trump's very first executive order was to kill a 6-year-old girl, Nora, in Yemen by drone strike. That was his first executive order. Okay, Donald, you just got elected president. You're the most powerful man in the world. What do you want to do now? Kill an American girl? Murdering a 6-year-old American girl living in Yemen? What the fuck are you doing? Jesus fucking Christ. Why did we give this piece of shit power at all? What about all the healthcare deaths? They say 47,000 every year. More people die of that than healthcare. They don't have healthcare. Homelessness, poverty deaths, their war deaths, and plus how fucking embarrassing every goddamn day. This is the imperial presidency. This is the imperial presidency. This is the guy that we have to call Mr. President. Oh man, so much fucking prestige and dignity he brought to the goddamn. How many Trump hotels did Donald install in Cameroon? We got troops in Cameroon. That's a dictatorship. It's a terrible dictatorship, but he can make some money with his hotels. That's all he gives a shit. He's still got those hotels in Russia too, right? Remember when they made Jimmy Carter sell his peanut farm before he became president to make sure that there were absolutely no conflicts of interest? And for those who are saying, hey, you can't arrest Donald if you're not going to arrest all those other fucking presidents, what the fuck are you talking about? So you're sitting there saying, well, all the other serial killers who got away with their fucking crimes, don't arrest them and don't arrest the next person that commits a murder? Are you fucking stupid? Let's start a precedent. Let's start a precedent. If you're the king, you can't go around and kick peasants in the junk. You can't do it. Even Hobbes was against that shit. And he was a royalist. Helped with the restoration of Charles II. All of the rest, ex-presidents, arrest them. Arrest those rat bastards too. The warmongers, the Epsteinites, the 1%, the billionaire class. Something tells me the Hamptons, there's probably a lot of people in the Hamptons. And also cheer when Wall Street and the banks collapse. How many of you all own stocks? If Wall Street collapses, that means if you don't own stocks, that's a great day for you. That's a great, you invested none of your hard-earned money into this bullshit. When Wall Street and the banks collapse, that's great for capitalism. That'd be great for America. Now let's do people's banks. Nah, this is for the birds. This shit is for the birds. Everybody gets a Federal Reserve account, and then we start doing Bitcoin, Americoin. That's when the rest of us regular folks, that's when we get our day in the sun. When the goddamn banks and Wall Street collapse. But these are the big wigs, right? The 1%, the billionaires, the rich and the powerful. They never goddamn. The rest of us regular folks will get our day in the sun. Every day has his day. Every dog has his day. Every dog gets a fair shake. It's a dog day afternoon. We all get our day in court. Arrest those presidents. Arrest those goddamn presidents for the same thing. For murder. For the war crimes. 1 million deaths for visiting Epstein Island a bunch of times, like Bill Clinton admitted to doing. And raping a 13-year-old with Jeffrey Epstein, like that lawsuit alleged Donald did. That's a federal lawsuit. That federal lawsuit was filed fucking 8 years ago. How's that going? How's that faring? Start a trend. What a crazy goddamned argument. It's like saying, well, George W. Bush killed so many more people. Okay, so you let the serial killer go. And then just, since you let a serial killer go, you're going to let a murderer go because he didn't kill as many fucking people. Arrest all the people who do bad things. Koberger stabbed 4 people. He got arrested. He stabbed 4 people. He got arrested. They were innocent people. It's incredible. It's like they're saying it's got to be a fucking mass shooting or some shit. Because you let the mass murderer go, you're not going to arrest the murderer because, well, shit, you let those other 4 mass murderers go. Arrest all the fucking murderers. Arrest people who murder innocent people. What the fuck? People should be arrested. You murdered innocent people, you should be arrested. And you should go to trial. You should have a fair fucking shake. You get a good lawyer, go through the right process, have the same rules of evidence as everybody else. I heard that Soleimani was the Che Guevara of Iran. Soleimani, as in Solomon, David's successor. Saul's successor was David. David's successor was Solomon. And Soleimani was the Che Guevara of Iran. I'd say at least 100,000 Americans were killed not having universal health care. So that's what, 500,000 people plus the COVID deaths. You can't put them all in there, but put 25%. So you got 500,000 people who died without health care. Then the COVID, that's at least 1 million fucking Americans right there. He was in favor of universal health care. He said he loved universal health care in Scotland. Arresting Donald Trump fixes the images of January 6th. January 6th has the real threat of becoming a 26th of July movement in Cuba. Fidel Castro basically did the same thing, tried to overthrow the government, left, came back, and then overthrew the government. He also sent his troops to Angola. Optics is power, and unless the left is prepared to take over the U.S. Capitol in our fun and cheery hippie Woodstock freedom, peace, love, power way, until we are with our flower power and just, hey, peace and love, man, you know, no destruction of property, man, no, just a bunch of just a peaceful millions and millions of people just listening to Jimi Hendrix and whatever. Then Donald Trump being arrested. Then we don't need to see him be arrested. But until we're able to do that, the only thing that's comparable was March 1st, 1954. So the right has the optics of a 26th of July movement and the left does not. So either we need to get our optics comparable or arrest Donald. Arrest Donald. Arresting Donald would be a corrective measure for January 6th. He definitely instigated that fucking riot. He did it on false pretenses. He knows he's a fucking lying piece of shit, but he knew he could grift off of it and make a ton of money. And you know, in some respects, people, goddamn, Lauren Boebert's competitor gave up like immediately. Our elections are great. I give up. Man, that's not a fucking winner. Winners want the ball. Winners want the ball. So contest it for about a week or something. But once they do the recount, what are you saying? What are you saying? Do you have a bunch of affidavits? Do you really think there's massive voter fraud going on? Because really there's massive complacency. A bunch of fucking people don't vote and don't give a shit. And because Donald was the president and he's a compulsive, pathological liar, that made his lies that much more impactful. So how many people died without health care? How many people, Americans, died without, in poverty? How many people, Americans, died homeless? Plus the war deaths, plus the drone deaths. There was a whole bunch. We don't even have the numbers. Donald Trump changed the rules when it came to counting the deaths. Donald Trump changed the rules when counting civilians killed by drones. So now we're not counting the civilians killed outside of war zones. Why the fuck not? Probably because it's illegal. They're clearly motherfucking crimes. So that means we're getting bad information now. The only thing that we're getting is when civilians are killed within inside a war zone. Jesus fucking Christ, that's ridiculous. 5 of the 100 drone strikes killed 14 civilians. That's Amnesty International was checking out. Okay, Donald Trump did 100 drone strikes. How many civilians were killed? 14 out of 5 of those 100. So there's still 95 drone strikes. And they're estimating 7,500 or so. And the Pentagon's admitted to 1,500. So I'm thinking over 5,000. Over 5,000 civilians were killed by drone strikes. Arrest Donald Trump for that. 5,000 civilians were murdered, were killed, because he kept pushing the damn button and innocent people happened to be getting out of the Paris Climate Agreement. That probably caused some deaths. Right-wingers love Putin. My God, they love Putin. Apparently right-wing fascist sons of bitches. Putin is connected with Donald. They just love goddamn strong leaders, right? That's... Marijuana is still illegal. There's war everywhere. Poverty is everywhere. 500,000 homeless Americans we still have living on our streets. Always. 500,000 American homeless. Always. And then how disgraceful how Donald treated Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. How freaking disgraceful. These are great people, great Americans who did. Donald being banned off of Twitter was one of the greatest gifts to humanity that anybody has ever given us. Thank you. Thank you for banning. God damn that motherfucking psycho. And we're putting it up on the TV as if like this Emancipation Proclamation. Motherfucker totally basically made the office he turned it into white trashville. He turned DC into white trash land. He said the presidency just basically took the Oval Office and somehow wiped his ass with the fucking Oval Office. And of course, Donald's the one that says those people who die in wars are suckers and losers. I'm not going to say that's a great victory, but they would be a martyr, right? If they died for a cause that's bigger than themselves. Julian Assange, does he not believe in freedom? Has he not read the Bill of Rights? He's talking about destroying the Constitution not so long ago. Edward Snowden, I can't stand Russia, but I can't fucking, that's like the one exception with fucking Russia. They protected Edward Snowden. We don't even protect Edward Snowden. We had to get Capone on tax evasion charges. So I feel like arrest Donald Trump if you got the goods on him. Don't just do it for political reasons. And you only got one, you only get one 3-point shot. And we saw how AOC and the squad didn't goddamn get us a new House Speaker. Oh, we might get Kevin McCarthy. Oh, shit. We might get Kevin McCarthy. No fucking, no way that'll ever happen. I'm glad we listened to you assholes. So I don't want Donald Trump to be arrested just for political reasons. I would love to see him go down, but don't arrest him unless there's probable cause that a crime occurred. That's the time when a cop can arrest somebody. You can arrest Donald if there's probable cause that a crime occurred. If there's probable cause that a crime occurred, then arrest him. Or have him work out a bail situation at the jailhouse. When it comes to an indictment, he could just have a lawyer work out a bail situation at the jailhouse. He won't even have to, he could get a mug shot, get fingerprinted, go to the jailhouse, get that stuff done, put the money up, and then walk the fuck away. It won't even take 10, 20 minutes. The press and everybody will be there, and everybody wants to see him sort of get manhandled and tackled. That's not going to happen unless they, go to arrest him, like at his house or walk into McDonald's. You can also arrest Donald Trump if you witness him commit a crime. If you see him commit a crime, arrest him right then and there on the spot. Get his crime on camera too. That'd be perfect. If you get his crime on camera, then arrest Donald. Arrest him right then and there. But you can't arrest Donald Trump for just political reasons. And then Stormy Daniels hush money. In a way, he did do it right. He gave the money to the damn lawyer. The lawyer did it. The lawyer served the time. If anything, he should say thanks, to the Michael Cohen for goddamn taking that bullet for him. Stormy Daniels hush money. I feel like it was a very expensive blowjob. Donald got a very expensive blowjob. He had fun for a day. He got to play with Stormy Daniels, fake fucking, and then how public and very expensive and loud, and just for a blowjob, and then he had to pay her $150,000. She got a lot. She got a lot of time, publicity. I mean, 150 grand for just sucking an old man's. I feel like if he's falsifying documents, that I'll buy. That seems like he's a liar. He would falsify documents on top of falsifying documents. Campaign finance violations. The Stormy Daniels thing, I just feel like it's a nothing burger. But campaign finance violations, okay, what are you talking about? Don't connect it with but that by itself, that could be something. Campaign finance violations, falsifying documents. Just don't arrest Donald for purely political reasons, though. That would turn around. The blowback would be awful. But if there's probable cause that Donald Trump committed a crime, then you have to arrest him. Because the rule of law says that everybody has to obey the law. He is not above the law. And this is a good precedent to set. Just because you're rich and powerful, just because you're a president or an ex-president, doesn't mean you get to go to the store and do some shoplifting. Doesn't mean you get to. And all the fucking crimes, no telling how many goddamn crimes. He had all of his hotels were still fucking in operation. No telling how much goddamn money is going through his fucking coffers. Or his whole fucking... he's still running again. His whole family, his entourage, they're not backing him with this endeavor. It's like, God, we already tried that. And that was awful. That was terrible. That was a fucking nightmare. What a fucking piece of shit. Just every fucking day, just sitting on the fucking toilet, just being a gossip fucking queen, just being a gossip columnist, just talking shit about everybody. Motherfucker, don't you want to pass a bill or two? Don't you want to go shake some hands with some dignitaries or something? Don't you want to make some deals? Buy Greenland. I mean, that'd been okay. That's something better than what the fuck was he doing? What the fuck did he do in 4 fucking years besides be a loudmouth fucking dickhead, bunch of smegma, just a fucking schmegma, goddamn. There's a lot of reasons to arrest Donald Trump, so I don't think it'll happen. I think he's crying foul just to get out of the bullshit. They're gonna arrest me, guys, for Stormy Daniels. Come on, MAGA crowd. Everybody get mad about this. It would fix the optics, though. It would fix the optics.